Hi crafters, so for this Try It Tuesday, I thought we would play with this really cute piece of chipboard. I'm going to color it up with some markers and then create a cloud background for a little airplane to fly in. So I'm going to start with coloring the chipboard, and if you've watched the videos, you've seen me use chipboard many times, and there's such a huge variety of things that you can do with your chipboard to alter it. This one, I'm just going to get out my markers and color the chipboard. So I happen to be using Copics, but any kind of marker will do. The Tim Holtz markers, the Tombows, a Sharpie, any of that's going to work on there. So there's a little brown bear just sitting in our airplane. What do I do with my cap? And for a red airplane, maybe I'll go with this one's a little bit lighter. So when you do use your markers on chipboard, it's going to be a little different than using them on paper. Like the color is going to show up a little differently. I should almost do that propeller a different color. Maybe I will. So we'll do the airplane here. So if I was using this same marker on paper, it would be it would show up more vibrant. So on the chipboard, it does absorb a fair amount of your marker. So sometimes you'll get a little different color. Well, you generally will get a different color than you would if it was on paper. But obviously using red, it's still going to show up red. Easy to color because it's not like you're even staying within the lines, right? You're just coloring that whole surface there. And I guess that's part of the window of the plane and the tail of the plane. So it's a pretty quick way to color or to alter your chipboard. And with your markers, you can just be so precise and get into those little areas, right? And this one has on here, I heart you. So maybe for the heart one, maybe we'll use red again for that piece of the flag. Make that little heart stand out. And I love, there's a little heart on here too. This is just such a cute little bear. And then we'll do some of these green. There was really no reasoning behind my choosing the color. So that green kind of isn't showing up that bright on chipboard. We'll try this green. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit better. I think I like that color better on there. So whenever you're testing out your colors on chipboard, if you just want to try them before you actually commit to the color, you can always flip it over and test it on the back, and then you'll see exactly how your color is going to show up on the chipboard and decide if that's the color that you want before you even commit to putting it on the front. And here where I used a different color, I can always just, I'm going to go over it because I'm going over it with a darker color. So it's going to cover it right up. So we'll use this Zig pen. Is this a shaker? Nope, maybe not. That'll just help it stand out as something unique. There you go. So that was fast and easy. Maybe a little bit more gold for this, the rope, I guess it would be, that's holding this banner on. Just so that we've got it in more than one spot. There we go, and you can see where that went right over top of my marker and covered it up nice, so it gave me a nice little banner line. So we have our little teddy bear flying his airplane with his I love you sign, and now we need to create a sky for him to be flying around. So I have this new stencil from Crafter's Workshop. It's what they call it's from their line of slimline stencils. So there's fairly new size of card or newly become popular. That's called a slimline. It's like the size of a business envelope, so long and narrow. And Crafters Workshop has come out with a few stencils specifically for that nice long size. And actually, I think this would be great for like even putting him on a scrapbook page. Oh, I need to do that. That would be cute. Anyways, this one we're going to do for a card, and I'm just going to create the sky using the stencil, my ink applicator, and some ink. Now you can choose any ink you want. This just happens to be the Distress ink because the color was called Stormy Sky, so I thought that would be a good blue for a sky. But there's many other blues. The oxides would be really nice to work with just because they're nice and creamy. So any blue that you have, pull it out, or even gray for some gray clouds, or combine the two. So ink up my applicator, and then I'm going to start, if I put this down onto my paper and then start, I will tend to have a dark spot where I set it down. So I'm actually going to set it down on my stencil. It may not show up that well on camera because it's kind of a white stencil on white paper. See if I can get this to zoom a little bit better. And keep it on camera here. Okay, so I ink it up, start with it on my stencil, and then go onto my paper. And it looks like it's creating very, very pale blue, like you can hardly see it. But what I have found is that when you move your stencil, it shows up darker than what it appears when your stencil's still there. There you go. There's some little clouds starting already. So the beautiful thing about this stencil is I use this side. Now I can flip it over and use that and get a little different pattern. I can tilt it, I can use the bottom of it, and I can flip the bottom of it over too. So you get a real variety of clouds so that they're not uniform, and I don't want uniform clouds. And I may be doing my layers of clouds a little bit close together here, but we'll just see how that turns out. So you could use multiple colors, like different shades of blue. I'm just going to keep using the same one, and of course you can change it a bit by how much you layer on there. So you can go really light to get a lighter blue, or obviously put a few layers on top of each other to get a darker blue clouds. This is just such an easy way to get clouds. And of course you don't have to be doing it on a slimline card. If you had a regular size card like this, your stencil would just overhang, and that's fine. So this size just gives you some nice options, and I'm thinking that's a great option for a scrapbook. Decorating a scrapbook page. So I've just flipped that over again, and we'll do another layer. My sky is just going to be full of clouds, only because it's really fun to create them. And we could probably even, you know, do the end of it here, get a different look. Sure we could. This just gives you so many options. It really looks like it's rolling clouds. So for my little airplane bear here, it's all about the sky because he's a flying. But this would also be great backgrounds for cards or projects where you're putting little characters or little people that are on the ground or on hills or fairies or anybody that's sitting in the trees, and this just gives you a nice background for some sky. So lots of options. Oh, look at that. I think we have probably more clouds than what I need, but I'm really liking this stencil. This is just giving a really neat look. This would be good with the stampscapes too. Oh. once you start working with something, the ideas just start flowing, of all the different things that you can do with it. I think this would be great with our Stampscapes sceneries. Okay, I think I have more than enough because really, this is just for a slimline card. So I don't even need as much as what I have there. So we'll just cut off about 3 inches. Oh, I think I just cut that crooked. Okay, and then here's a card base similar to the color in his airplane. And there we go. We can put it on there and just, I would adhere this with my double-sided tape or glue, and then just adhere him with a little bit of liquid glue. And you're done. Or, maybe I could add some sparklies. Sure, why not have some glitter in the sky? Okay, so I better put this together. And I think I want to put a little bit of blue edging on here. Why not, eh? I haven't used this type of an applicator for putting ink on the edge here before. I usually use my sponge one like this, but actually this works too since it's already got the blue ink on there. And then we could adhere it down onto our card base. I like using this kind of double-sided tape because it's just super strong, so you don't need to use very much. And I do want to make sure my clouds are going the right direction. You don't want upside down clouds, eh? And then, because this isn't sitting flat, we'll put it this way so it's nice and flat. And put a little bit of liquid glue. I just happen to be using this Nuvo, but any liquid glue is going to work on there. Something that tacks up nice for you. And I do prefer to use a liquid glue that dries clear. That way, if you get a little bit sneaking out, you're not going to have a glob of white glue showing. And yeah, I think he needs a little bit of something else. So I'm going to open up these sequins that I just happen to have out for another project, but there's a few in here where the colors just might work for us. Like maybe some of these blue ones. Blue for the sky. Not that it has to be anything realistic, because is it realistic to have sequins in your sky? And I have my little tool that we had on the Try It Tuesday recently. This little guy in my little magic tool bag for picking up sequins. So first I'm going to start with just putting a dot of glue wherever I think I would like a sequin. So I'll have just a couple dots of glue here. And actually with these sequins, this is a great way to cover up if you had a little, just a little mark on your paper or something that you didn't want. This is the time, that's where you put a sequin because then it covers it up. So my little tool here, jewel picker. Awesome tool when you're working with small things like this. So you just pick up your sequin, and actually this one is upside down. And there we go. And what other colors? That may be the only color that really, oh, there's some green ones. We have green in the sky? No, I think I better stick with blue. I'm liking the blue ones. And oh, a couple more glue dots there I should cover up. And there we go. We got ourselves a little card of clouds. And I think these clouds, I'm looking forward to putting them on a scrapbook page because I think that would be nice. And this would even be a good title for it. Thanks for watching.